But my understanding, Senator Robach, is that there has been some progress made in the state budget. The governor originally proposed his budget, and I believe recently there was some movement by budget resolution passage by both houses of the legislature. Were there any I know that you had expressed concerns over the governor's original budget. Were there any was there any progress made in addressing those concerns that you raised in the governor's original budget?
Well, I don't know if there was concerns. You know, we have some successes by speaking out, but let me say this first. The assembly plan basically wants to go out, add to our debt service, and borrow $2 billion more dollars. The Senate version really had some new taxes and fees in it, even on health care and long-term care, I believe, and I don't know what you want to call it, one-shots, and some money that I don't even think was there to fill in that gap. So I think we have to do something real. And when you talk about successes, I know it'll be very challenging. I want to be real here, but I'm prepared not to vote for any budget that increases any taxes or fees. I think the time has come where I'm hearing from my constituents, no matter where I am, whether they're a working family with young children, whether they're individuals, whether they're on a fixed income, businesses, they're aware that we spend more money than most states in a lot of other categories and want us to intelligently tighten our belts, just like they're doing in their homes and their businesses. And I think that's what we should do. So I wasn't happy with either one of those. Yet you do fight, even in last year's budget, by standing up. We did stop the license plate extra fee, doubling of that fee, and having to switch to those ugly orange license plates for no other reason. I even thought from an environmental standpoint that was foolish to destroy all those plates that are still good just to collect this extra money. Recently we pointed out a number of things, but one of the ones that the governor seemed to respond to, saying he's willing to take out, you know, the idea at this time when we're having to trim or tighten our belt on very important things and services people need, that we would be spending almost or over $800,000, approaching $1 million on trailers for Department of Corrections to go into prisons so inmates could have conjugal visits. It was appalling that they would ever be in there in the first place. And quite frankly, I think that me and a lot of our upstate Republican colleagues screaming very loudly against that, having the media focus on that. Even I was shocked at how many people even commented on that on Facebook and got it off our website. I think we've made enough noise now where it looks like that's one expenditure that will be taken out, being a little bit more respectful, for lack of a better term, and a little bit better usage of the public's money and their tax dollars. So I guess those are some small wins in this frustrating time.
You mentioned the fact that we are already late with our state budget and that we have yet to begin conference committees.
Right.
To really begin the process that allows the bill ultimately to be marked up for public comment. And the parties that really aren't coming together. You have a very interesting proposal which would in effect sequester the legislature. Can you tell our viewers at home what your bill does and how you think it will achieve an on-time budget?
I really believe that it's such an honor and a privilege to have this job, and that we really should do all we can not to be cavalier, to be very serious, and know that it impacts people in so many ways. I'm almost willing to try and do anything. You know, currently our pay, we don't get paid when the budget's late. I voted for that. I have another bill that you spoke of, which would really sequester the legislature, just like a jury, except for religious holidays, and keep us locked down here. Because it seems to me that my New York City colleagues, the only thing they value is their time. Many of them are attorneys, have outside income, do other things. Perhaps if we locked them down in Albany, they would address it a little bit more expeditiously and more seriously. I'd even go so far, you know, we passed this bill, they're in violation of the law. Let's make the leader say, you'll get fined a couple $1,000s. Or maybe if you don't utilize conference committees within 1 week prior to the budget deadline, maybe they should go do some community service or something. I don't know. People, especially the leaders, but all of us, have to be held more accountable. The process has to lead and lend to a timely, more open, balanced budget for the whole state, and a logical one. And I think we can do better. But that we already have made some changes that, again, the 3 New York City leaders are just openly defiant on, with nobody enforcing it or no consequences to them other than what the public can bear, is unfortunate. But I could tell you, people are paying more attention than ever before. They know about my bill to sequester the legislature. They're aware that the New York City leaders are violating the law already. A lot of people that are paying attention in my district to this budget bill, they're very disappointed that outside of the governor, who had it talked about it in the State of the State, none of the budget resolutions include a bill I've been carrying for a long time separately to put a cap on the state budget. People know about it now. So they really are paying attention. They seem to know who's very serious about making changes and standing firmly behind their ideas of capping the budget, tightening our belts, having a better process. And so that part, in an odd way, I think is good. But again, we have to be not about the speech. We have to be about the action and the result. And some of the things that I'm hearing are very discouraging to me. Again, alluding to the fact that many of my New York City colleagues and elected officials don't think a timely budget is important. I had one person even say to me anecdotally on the way here, a colleague of mine from New York City in the other house said, I don't really have a general election. I only have a primary. Whether we get a budget done or time, or I have to take a tough vote on a budget, I don't care if that happens till after the primaries. That's September. That's unacceptable. And somehow we have to get people in New York City to put more pressure on their elected officials, as ours do, for more responsible and timely budgeting in upstate New York. It's imperative.
Do you have any predictions on how this process will continue?
I don't. All I can do is speak as loudly and join colleagues and citizens, not only in my district, but across the state, from trying to get a good budget on time and, again, open to the public. You're going to be hearing more about the violation of these conference committees.
Senator Robach, I want to thank you very much for taking time with us, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.